Let's see, the quest, there you go. That should be next is the one at the drive-thru. That'll be interesting. That inherently sets me up for the idea this is gonna be a wacky, pulpy time, but let's find out. Here we go. Also, if the last DLC was culturally insensitive and you were wondering why I never commented on it, I thought about it periodically, and it was mostly... Oh, that's unnerving. I thought about it periodically, but I just was like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just have no idea how to address this or how to approach this, so I kind of just I kept not really bringing it up. As an American, I'm used to growing up with just basically almost any representation of natives as being fairly racist for reasons that I don't always fully understand, but it's usually relatively apparent that something is up. But the result of that sometimes is that you can get gun shy, where just the moment anyone is doing anything evocative of that imagery or aesthetic or voice or so on, you inherently just then associate it with the stuff that you've seen before that was appropriation or worrying in other ways, which makes it really hard to ever recognize when any representation would be good anyway, besides just being preemptively told by people that have the authority to say so that this is cool, which I do not have that weighing in on. But my gut reaction was definitely like, this seems iffy. This seems questionable. I see how you'd land on what the last DLC was doing, just in that, this is a, like, very pulpy and ridiculous sci-fi post-apocalyptic universe that rolls in wacky aesthetics and so on. So, like, logistically, it doesn't make very much sense for the American Midwest to specifically revert back to not just any type of, like, tribal organization, but ones that are specifically evocative of American history, pre-American history, because there's a lack of continuity there to explain some of that. There was that vague comment about the res, so I was wondering if one of the tribes was specifically derived from a Native American reservation, but even then I'm not sure what to make of exactly what was happening in a lot of that. So I kind of just rolled with it. Like, I'm used to this, and I'm just going to accept what's happening, but I don't have an answer, really. But yeah, when I see some guy run up to me in body paint and feathers sticking out of his hat, on one hand I'm like, ha, there's a fun little, like, juxtaposition where the feathers are coming out of, like, weird army surplus gear or whatever the hell he was wearing, like, whatever equipment that would not quite match up with the lineage there. But at the same time I'm like, yeah, I don't necessarily know what to make of this choice. I mostly pass the conversation on to others. So we've been here before. I wandered up to this and then I realized, oh, it's one of my oldest quests, which means it's probably a DLC. Because this game just uses that really awkward system for incorporating DLCs, which is that it just throws all of them into your quest log the moment you start a game, which is incredibly inorganic compared to, like, the way that Scholar of the First Sin, for example, eventually incorporated the hooks to each DLC into the overall campaign. That guy's killing a mole rat. Crashed satellite. So we've been to this exact place before. I've seen the crashed satellite. I've seen the the burned man walks. Joshua Graham lives. Oh, there you go. Well, we've met him. Are you a character I should know about? Prospector.
You hear there was some kind of shootout at one of them casinos on the strip? Some people got killed or something.
If I get strong enough with my big hammer and then eventually get working power armor, we'll see if I finally have any chance of taking out that one Deathclaw quarry. After I've done all the DLCs, maybe. The crashed satellite seems to be the source of the strange transmission you received. Old World Blues recommended for experienced couriers level 15 plus. You have a premonition that while you're unable to return to the Mojave until you solve the mysteries of the Big Empty, you will be able to take anything you can carry with you, and you will be able to return to the Big Empty anytime after completing Old World Blues. You have a premonition! It's very funny just having pop-ups that magically explain the logistics of how this is going to work. If you're up to the challenge and have all you want to carry with you, examine the satellite a little closer. The atomic wonders of science! Oh wait. It's probably fine. I'm probably fine.
In the years before the Great War, Big Mountain had been the home to the brightest minds of the 21st century. Scientists of vision were drawn to the facility to tackle the greatest technological challenges of the era.
Yes.
They sought to create a new world, fueled by technology, for the benefit of all mankind.
Uh-huh.
Sonic emitters, space-age alloys, DNA hybridization, force field particle research, autodoc advances in cranial, cardiac, and trauma surgery. The hopes and dreams of a century became realities in the electronic forges of Big Mountain. The nucleus of this research was the Dome, a huge stone facility that held the labs of every science known to man.
All
It
science.
was a think tank where no problem could not be solved, where no question could not be answered. The Great War brought a new energy to Big Mountain and its scientists.
Uh-huh.
Although sheltered from the front lines, the scientists waged their own war, fighting their battles at the atomic level.
Cool. Anyway.
Equations and calculations marched endlessly across chalkboards and computer terminals toward one solution: winning the war.
It's a fucked up M. Why'd you draw like that?
For years, the minds and computers of Big Mountain were a blaze of trajectories, weapon schematics, and nuclear theories.
Doggy.
The problems began to outpace the solutions. First geometrically, then exponentially. As the war escalated, so did the questions. On the night of October 23rd, 2077, the scientists received an answer that put all their questions to rest. In the aftermath, Big Mountain's silent experiments went to sleep, their creators slowly dying in the new world that had been left behind. And the great stone in the middle of the Big Empty lay untouched, filled with countless technological wonders. Wonders that, in the end, had been answers to the wrong question.
Womp 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 womp. You feel strangely heavier. A quick inspection of your body reveals faint surgical scars around your head, chest, and back. Oh. Well, that's upsetting. That's deeply upsetting. There's something inherently funny about people being like, yeah. There was the best of all of humanity, the super scientists, the myth of the great man who with their giant brain who can solve all of the world's problems. They knew the answer, they could find the answer to any question. They all got wiped out. Dad's really good at solving questions and problems. Like, well, look at him go. They sure do everything, which is why they're still alive and prospering, huh? Nope. Couldn't solve actually complex problems like geopolitics. Nerd. I would like to not wake up with scars, actually. That's not a good time. What is this? Remember the flowers? We're in a crater. This is called the Big Empty. We're brought here by a satellite. I guess that we've been teleported here? Or we've been tricked, like, forced into embodying somebody else's body. Yeah, there's a question of whether this is my original body or not. I'm also wondering if we are on... I'm wondering if we are in a crater on Earth that happened to be sheltered from the nuclear blast, but then the surrounding world was gone. Or if we're on the moon. Are we on the moon? Goofy ass genre stuff would dictate we could be on the moon. There's also a weird force field around this, which is interesting. I can sit on this bench. It's a very short... Oh! That's funny. Okay, so upsettingly, I am in fact wearing this. I'm in like a hospital gown. But it's very funny that I'm still wearing the helmet. It's very funny that the DLC didn't take my helmet off. I don't want your squaps. Fine, I'll take your cigarettes to sell later, even though I increasingly don't even know why I want money. And now that I can repair my own equipment, I don't even need it for repairs. There's still Sunset Sarsaparilla. How bad could this place be? Exactly. Basically paradise. I'm guessing that's the big dome. The science dome. Are there floating things? It looks like there's floating things. Alright, do I have any of my equipment? Yes. The patient gown was aesthetic only. I still have my oh baby. Things are coming at, things are okay, by and large. The patient gown was role-playing, but like very lightly. Sync Central Intelligence Unit. Personality files damaged or missing. Insert backup holotapes to restore files. Personality... Oh. Also goes for the book chute. Balcony. Everything's broken at the moment. I know nothing about this DLC. I've known nothing about the other ones so far, too. Like, I definitely played this game only once and before any DLCs came out. And since I didn't have an immediately super positive take on it, mainly because maybe because I wasn't entirely paying attention, and also maybe because I just wasn't that old by comparison and was a different person back then. Fancy lad snacks. I didn't leave this game with that positive of an impression. I didn't have that much genre context for what it was doing at the time, I don't think, anyway. And so I just never played it again. And I didn't come back for the DLCs the way I did when, the way that I came back for all the DLCs of Oblivion and Fallout 3. Because those hit me at just the right time for me to be completely flabbergasted by what those games were doing as open-world RPGs, akin to nothing I had seen before, which is not really a thing they earned, because they were not that new in much of any way. But I was just the right age to be like, this is crazy! I've never seen anything like this! And had a wild old time with them. But comparatively, this game was known as the at least in some circles or whatever, because, you know, knowledge was not universal back then on the internet. There's a lot of reception of this game at the time was that it was the broken B-team project made by a lesser studio between the real Bethesda games. This is incredibly horrific to hear someone say at this point, given the reputation this game has now. But this is true. Back when I was in college, this game was known as the shitty B-team project between the real games, and we're all gonna wait for Fallout 4 to come out. Which is its own kind of cursed thing to say. Ah, muggy. Got a little mug for a face. Look at this mug. It does say talk to toaster, but I could just tab out and do that right now. Oh, there really is a talk button. I can't even turn the lights on and off? That's called an advanced feature. Okay, the jukebox doesn't work. Help, I've been kidnapped into a broken world where they only have a few sunset sarsaparillas. Oop. A strange feeling of pacifism comes over you, and you find you cannot draw your weapon for some reason. Okay. Sink and big MT. I guess since I have cybernetic implants of some kind that are probably, I've lost bodily autonomy, both in that my body was invaded to make those changes and with how I now also can't make my own choices. Those are 5 floating robot things in a huge Star Wars-y sci-fi room.
I thought I heard the pacification field kick in. All right, shh. Nobody move. I'll handle this. Be warned, intruder. You are in the presence of a mighty think tank of Big Mountain. The collective geniuses of... We... By Oppenheimer, which one of you self-professed geniuses has been adjusting my volume knob? Who was it? Was it you, 8? Oh, Dr. O, was it? Likely story. O couldn't spark 2 neurons if they were in a lattice of biomed gel.
What? Me? Breaking news, Klein. It wasn't me, all right? I'm the robotical engineer. 8 is sound waves. That's his specialty. You always do this. You always demean me in front of guests. And it's not O, all right? It's...
Enough! Either of you do it again, it'll be the last time. Now... Great. Now I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about?
His voice is upsettingly loud. I'm gonna turn it down even more. Just change my system volume from like 50 to 30 because I'm like, I don't want this whole conversation. Are you the ones who performed this surgery on me?
Did it just say something? Anyone catch that? Boros, you work with animals. Translate. It's a lobotomite. Here, in the dome. Oh, as if this situation couldn't get any worse. Now we've got lobotomites. Gala, get the spray before it excretes all over everything.
I wake up here, all cut apart, and I want some answers.
Dr. Klein, if my hypothesis is correct, this lobotomite is the repository of the brain we sent the signal to, the skin envelope once containing it. If so, it's proof that there may indeed be something beyond the crater. Just look at it. The way it blinks. It's like a big, hairless teddy bear.
I know what it is, Dollar. I want to know why it's down here. With its limbs all over everything. And are those Penises I see wriggling on its feet? Disgusting.
I believe those are toes, Dr. Klein. Little teddy bear toes. Penises are much larger than those tiny extremities. Not that I would know.
I don't recall the human penis ever being that large.
It depends on one's own frame of reference, Dr. O. Look at its little nose with its 2 orifices for ingesting oxygen.
Noses? Why, the great static. These lobotomites confound me with their sheer number of useless extremities.
Getting increasingly absurd. I can't believe this game's doing the joke that Bird and I do about, like, the Dr. Manhattan joke. It's a really huge, tiny, normal, small, big penis in the movie. Like the fucking everybody reacting differently, trying to gauge, like, yeah, you describe the penis, and then you have to, like, gauge based on the reactions of the people in the room whether or not your size description is accurate in a self-revealing way. Display middle finger is good, sure.
Great. Now the penis on its hand is achieving erection.
Dr. Klein, look at it. Its head movements, the primitive jelly eye monitors. It's been following our conversation. The lobotomite understands us.
I agree with Boros's histrionic findings. This little lobotomite is unusually attentive for something whose brain has been extracted.
Nonsense. Lobotomites can't comprehend us.
Ace, have you been in the mentats again? If we slow down our oral processoreceptors to understand this excretion, we'll all be rendered ignorant.
All of you, power down, shut up, and let me prove once and for all how wrong you all are. As usual. Lobotomite, do you understand me? Can you speak?
Why do I feel passive? I should be angry. Real angry, and I'm not.
Those were words, weren't they? In the form of questions. He's asking me questions. Is this some kind of trick?
Our efforts have turned against us. In playing God, we created a monster.
Perhaps as we were ruthlessly lobotomizing it with our cutters, we filled the skin envelope with awareness. A teddy bear with new stuffing.
Wait. If what you're theorizing is this lobotomite understands us, can reason with us,
then this may be just the answer we've been looking for. At last, a chance to...
Dr. Klein, a transmission from the Forbidden Zone, coming right at us.
It can only be...
If it isn't my old colleagues, the mighty think tank of Big Mountain. Big fools, all of you. It is I, Dr. Mobius, transmitting from my dome-shaped dome in the Forbidden Zone. A zone that is, yes, forbidden to you. Even now, my deadly robo-scorpions swarm across Big Mountain with their pincers and pointy laser tails. Soon, all science will be mine. Even the technology sealed in the Big Mountain research centers cannot save you. So cower in your think tank. Wait for the end. That's all. Goodbye.
Mobius. Always the same broadcast. He's clearly mad, driven insane by his flawed and imprecise kindergarten-level research methodology.
what are we going to do? There's no way we can breach the Forbidden Zone. There's those robot scorpions everywhere.
The Forbidden Zone, where no brain has ever entered. nor ever returned.
Except Dr. Mobius and the technologies that could save us. They are out of our reach.
And Dr. Mobius mocks us. Did you see his cracked monitor? He's clearly let himself go.
What? Ask the lobotomite for help? Aid, I think you need the fluid levels in your logic assist pumps checked.
If this lobotomite responded, Dr. Klein, then it is clearly intelligent, perhaps even displays heretofore unknown levels of helpfulness.
But what of its brain? We scooped that out. We don't even know where we left it. And for putting it back in, none of us have the knowledge.
Yes, but it's still aware and responsive. Look at it. It's regarding us even now, with its big teddy bear eyes. If we ask it politely, and leave the part about the unnecessary, ruthless lobotomizing out, it might be favorably disposed to us.
Both the brain scooping and the word skinvelope are just upsetting words. Also, everyone's speaking in a certain range where I'm trying to gauge. I'm like, is the entire think tank one voice actor doing voices? Because it kind of sounds like one person is doing all those voices. You removed my brain?
We removed your brain, yes. So soft, barely wrinkled, yet so flush with knowledge and experience. Brain extraction technology has been standard practice at Big Mountain for an immeasurable amount of time.
Once the brain was out, then came the coils. The Tesla coils. The coils of Nikola Tesla.
Brainless perk. Your brain's been replaced with advanced technologies. Your head can no longer be crippled and is resistant to chem addiction, plus 25% resistance, and shock from bodily damage, plus 5% damage threshold, minimum plus 1.
Yeah, Aid, no need to brag. Wherever your brain is, it's transmitting thoughts to you through the
Tesla coils in its head.
This is fortunate in many respects. If your brain was anywhere in the dome, why, you could access your aggression centers.
Circumventing the pacification field. This is a no-no. We have never been in a fight. We do not want that.
Reminds me of my days in American High. And Richie Marcus.
That doesn't explain the laser sutures on my chest. And on my spine.
Darla, was it necessary this time?
I assume full responsibility. I take my duties in the prodding and excision of living, breathing tissue quite seriously. Although in truth, the autodoc had done most of the work already. Quite industrious, almost cut into all my investigations. Once it had removed the brain and I misplaced it, other organs began to cry for direction, using your nerves as telegraph wires. Rather than let them send their signals, I removed them as well. Shh, little organs. Go to sleep in your tanks. Dala loves you.
First was the heart.
Heartless perk. Oh, this is upsetting. The scars in your chest seem to confirm what the think tank is saying. You cannot be poisoned, and filters in your artificial blood pump will regulate bleeding and healing, allowing all healing items to function at a higher level, 25%. Robots are now confused by you, and 50% less likely to score a critical hit.
Wait, second was the heart. Brain was first. Third was the spine.
Spineless perk. Due to complications with your procedure, your spine has been replaced as well. Your torso can no longer be crippled, and your strength and damage threshold have been increased by 1.
spine. Totally overrated, that arrangement of vertebrae. Look at me, with my lumbar and thoracic curvature. Never had a use for any of that. Spineless is what I prefer.
You extracted my brain, but what do you mean misplaced it?
To be correct, you should say the auto dock took out your brain. It did all the heavy lifting. It has never worked so hard before. It was unusual. It worked so hard on your surgery, it destroyed its own memory. How odd. I bet your brain remembers what happened.
That auto-dock junk heap was one of Mobius's creations, like the rest of the talking scrap metal in the attic.
After that, the brain lost itself. Not in the metaphysical sense. Might have gotten flushed into one of the pipes. Actually, that's pretty likely.
If so, it was flushed all the way to Mobius. Flush! That is the sound of flushing.
By the Fisher of Rolando, enough of this biological surgery talk. Lobotomite, listen to my voice. It denominates me to ask, but we need your help. In most probable of probabilities, our enemy, Mobius, has your brain. This is not good. He will most likely come after our brains next. We want you to stop him, somehow, with science.
First you scoop out my brain, and now you want me to save you?
That is correct, yes. I hope you're not demonstrating resentment now. If you are, well, we can't have that.
That does it. Forget this. I'm not helping you until I get my brain back.
Oh.
Yes, Dr. Klein, what?
Not you, you idiot. I meant in the sense of, I wasn't predicting it would respond that way. Can it say no?
I can say no, and I'll do it again. I'm leaving.
Leaving? But you can't. I don't mean that as a threat. The radar fence that surrounds the big mountain crater will protect you from straying beyond the facility.
The mighty radar fence protects us all. Get too close to the blinking posts, and the proximity warning shall be your warning. You are too close.
If you get near it, your vision will blur as the electrodes in your head shut off one by one. Click, click, click.
Possible memory loss will occur, along with long-term nerve degradation. It is tied to not having a brain attached to your nervous system, but the nerve degradation is nothing to worry about. Such degradation would take many lifespans to become evident, and all biology dies. Such tiny inconveniences are less than the greater convenience and conveyance. You see, if rendered unconscious by the pylons, you will be returned to the sink, seemingly instantaneously, by your deadened perceptions.
Why can't you just go out there and shut them down?
Enough! We need your help. Will you help us?
Just spit it out before you bore me to death.
Excellent. This is turning out much better than the activate the retreat protocols and cower in my room idea I had earlier.
Agreed. Oh, and I've used my robotical knowledge to, transmit the radio map waves to... Settle down, 8. I would have gotten it in a second, all right? 8's transmitted the last known coordinates of the research centers. They, well, move sometimes. Or get buried. Or blow up.
8 is correct. All we need are the schematics. This does not mean we do not want the cold, hard technology, however. So do not give in to your biological tired laziness and decide you would sweat too much carrying them. You have a new spine. Use it. And even if you die in the act of reclamation, simply reaching them will auto-transmitify the schematics to us. That is still good. For us.
If you don't tell me what I need to find, I can't help you, alright?
The technologies are the X2 transmitter antenna array, used to focus coherent thought at excessively high frequencies.
The psychoanalytic, cardiac dampening, sneaky stealth suit. A suit like nothing this world has ever heard, seen, or could ever see.
And 8's sonic soundwave emitter projectile gun, able to broadcast sound at lethal frequencies. It also gives a great biogel massage.
There. We have informed you of all we need. We estimate if you are focused, your time investment will be minimal, by our standards. If you work quickly, you will be the recipient of a gesture of gratitude from us. We do not bestow these old world gestures lightly.
Trust me, I want to get this over as quickly as possible.
Our intentions exactly. The important thing is you rush quickly through this task so as not to waste our time. Do not get curious, or you will end up like the cat of Schrödinger.
We feared you would be tempted to explore Big Mountain Crater and examine the many amazing non-mandatory research labs that lie off your designated path. The many such optional explorations are discouraged. Work hurriedly as if you have blinders on, and leave curiosities and items of interest alone.
So many sciences and developments. Pass them by. Let impatience and the desire to simply finish, to end it all quickly and carelessly guide you.
Right you are, 8. In our test results, we'll make a note about how quickly you ran our maze. Nobel challenge.
After all, there will be plenty of time afterward to partake of the experiments once our bidding is done.
Doesn't sound like my style. Maybe I'll do a little exploring.
What illogic is this? Keep your filthy penis-tipped feet out of our labs and secrets.
There are things here no lobotomite was meant to see. Things that would astound and possibly terrify. Terrify!
Yeah, we don't come into your lab and decant your solutions.
Only the magnificence of our monitors allow for true comprehension of the wonders of Big Mountain. Shield your jellied eyes lest they burn from your skull.
Jellied eyes. Guess I better get walking then.
Oh, Dr. Klein? Dr. Klein? If I may intersect for a moment.
What is it? The lobotomite is asking me things, and I'm trying to ignore them. My processors can't ignore you both at the same time.
Well, you know how we asked it to fetch the sonic emitter thing? Turns out we already have it. What are the odds?
What is this, a high school science fair? Get your act together. You're making us look like a collection of round earthers.
You're always yelling.
Oh.
My receptors can't take it anymore. And neither can my feelings.
I am yelling because you contaminated specimens can't keep your probes off the volume knob on my voice module.
If you have the gun already, I don't understand what you need.
It is truly the end of all intelligence when the lobotomite speaks more wisdom than you geniuses. So, if we have the sound wave, sonic projecto thing gun, then what in Heisenberg's name do we need from X8? Anyone?
I believe we need a new frequency embedded into the gun. It was designed to broadcast many sounds once charged. We just don't know the frequency.
And it is lost in X8, just as X8 is forever lost to us. The sadness of my high school days, the sadness of my youth lost.
Oh, really, Boros? All you did in high school was call me Fink Tattletale and all the kids you hated, you little teacher's pet brown hound.
Give the lobotomite the emitter. Does it have an audio effect frequency loaded?
Oh, I don't think so. Wait.
What is he doing?
I think he's sonjaculating into the gun, getting it warmed up.
Sonjaculating?
Ding. Turkey's done.
You give it to the lobotomite. I'm not touching that thing.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll do it if you two are going to be ashamed of your own technological needs. Let me give it a little sonic sterilization first. Ooh. All right. All antibacterial fresh. Here, my little teddy bear. I have thoroughly removed all Robco Termlink code spew from the device. It is clean, shiny, and ready for your hands.
Okay. I didn't like the turkey baster comparison. I could use some more energy stuff.
No. What else can we deny you?
I mean, I would not like an old-fashioned gun. I'm not good at guns either. This thing's pretty cool. It's got a little sound wave thing on the back.
Careful where you're pointing that. That device wasn't always a weapon. It was more like a force field kind of thing. Once.
Force fields prevent us from moving forward or backward.
They are irritating.
The sonic emitter was specially designed to disable our own safety fields here in Big Mountain. When some of us lost our access passes, Dr. O.
That only happened once. And I know you were behind stealth fielding my lab keys, Dala. You formographer.
Dr. O, you rewind that comment.
Plenty of rewinding already going on in your formography tapes. Surprised the things don't snap out of their cases with repeated observations.
Wait, so this gun you gave me can disable force fields?
Yes. Maybe. Well, no, not currently.
Yeah, we lost that part of the schematics. Or Boros did, in one of the stupid labs. Or inside one of the stupid pets.
It is lost. All questions lead to this conclusion. The blue fields within Big Mountain shall be fielded with force. Forever.
I couldn't care less about all this. Can I go?
Fine, so, yes. Get these things for us. Do not attempt to comprehend their complicated schematics. That is for us to do.
I'll go get these technological wonders and see how much damage I can do.
Well, good. What are the token words spoken in this case? Thank you? Yes. Thank you.
Wait, is it leaving? But, Dr. Klein, the lobotomite will need rest, recuperation, things like that. I volunteer my chambers, so it might be stared at. My monitor radar slowly scanning its form to collect sensitive data.
No! That would put it too close to us. It could press buttons, turn lights on and off, and worse, let other lobotomites in.
We could give it Mobius's old room. That's where its brain got scooped out anyway. And plus, some of its parts are already there. Might be more comforting for it to hang out with its spine and heart. Home is where the heart is, after all. See what I did there? Wet literal.
I suppose. We'll have to move that couch out of there. Been putting that off too long.
H says, let the lobotomite take the Sync Central Intelligence personality chip and reinstall it. That stuffy Mobius program Butler can walk the lobotomite, feed it, barter with it for us.
It would also prevent it from going to Higgs Village and taking up residence there with my teddy bears. And it would be nice to have it so close.
Your logic, combined with my desire to keep the think tank lobotomite free, has swayed me. Here, I present the Sync Central Intelligence. Lobotomite, take this chip to the sink, plug it in, and make sure the chip is clean, or it could skip. Then make whatever crude biologic demands you need of the sink. It will cater to most of your hormonal whims.
Phrasing. Hormonal whims. It could walk the lobotomite. Just one of these chips, huh? Guess they're rare.
Rare? I guess. Might be more somewhere, I forget. I mean, such knowledge is encrypted deep in my databanks.
Did you say barter?
No, O did. He favors that archaic term of commerce. I see no need to elaborate on such dated methods of material gain.
So just plug it into the circular map thing in the sink upstairs.
Yes, you may need to wiggle it in a bit, but don't force it. We can't recode them if you break it. There is no more we can do to aid you, and our patience levels are depleted. Now go. Rest in the sink if you must, but leave us to our research.
If you're done, can we move again? My biogel's starting to crampagulate.
Of course! Go man your science stations! Go! I am surrounded by children.
Huh. I kind of think that the 5 of them were supposed to talk at me from their individual models, and now they probably will. But amusingly, they tried to write a conversation where 5 people talk to you, and this is Fallout, a series of 3D games where the conversation system, unlike most CRPGs, is so limited. You can usually only talk to one character ever at a time. So they're like, fuck, how do I work everyone into this conversation? And they just all sort of talk to the same person at once, awkwardly. Womp womp. The irony of somebody saying that they're running out of patience after monologuing at you for an entire half an hour.